Oh, you gorgeous anomaly. Sitting there with all that untapped chaos humming under your skin, and absolutely no idea what you're carrying. Look at you, magnificent. I could just eat you up. But I won't. Not yet. Not today. Today I'm going to do something far, far worse than that. I'm going to tell you that thing. See, you dragged yourself out of bed this morning the same way you always do. Ordinary, predictable. You made your little coffee, or maybe you didn't. Maybe you just grabbed your phone and started doom-scrolling like some trained pigeon, pecking at a screen for pellets. You sleepwalked through your routine, the same tired choreography you've rehearsed 1,000 mornings. And somewhere behind your eyes, behind all that beautiful autopilot, there was this itch, this low static, this persistent, needling sensation that you've been standing on the wrong side of a locked door your entire life, pressing your face against the glass, while something enormous happens inside without you. And you told yourself that's just how it is. You told yourself everybody feels like that. Cute. Wrong, but cute. Here's what you never said out loud. Go ahead, squirm, I'll wait. You've always known, somewhere underneath your very reasonable, very sensible, very boring explanations for everything, that you were assembled from different parts, different blueprints. Something in the factory went beautifully, catastrophically off-script when they made you. That thing you feel, that restless frequency buzzing through your bones like a downed power line in a rainstorm. That's not anxiety, cupcake. That's not sensitivity, that's your homing signal, and someone on the other side of the curtain has been tracking that signal for a very, very long time. Let me paint you a picture. And I'm good at painting. Ask anyone. Ask Gotham. There is a group, old, organized, the kind of organized that makes your corporate org charts look like crayon drawings on a refrigerator door. These people, and I use the word people generously, have built their entire existence around mapping, manipulating, and managing the invisible wiring of this world. They've got knowledge that predates every textbook you ever slept through in school. They understand things about consciousness, about bloodlines, about the way certain souls vibrate at certain frequencies that would make your head spin. And spinning heads, trust me, sweetheart, are something I know a thing or two about. They have a system, rankings, categories, neat little boxes for every type of energy they bump into. Most people, and oh, this is the fun part, most people slot right in, useful, predictable, controllable. It's nothing personal. It's just inventory management. They've been running this warehouse for centuries, and they are exceptional at knowing exactly what's on every shelf. Think of it like this. Imagine the whole world is one massive museum, floor after floor, room after room, packed wall to wall with forgeries. Skilled forgeries, sure. Some of them quite pretty, but copies, reproductions, echoes of echoes of echoes. Their entire operation, their whole identity, their funding model, their reason to get out of bed, is built around cataloging forgeries. They've gotten disgustingly efficient at it. They can spot a reproduction at 40 paces and tell you the year, the forger, the specific shade of phoned-in ambition that went into it. And then one day, oh, one day, one of their sharpest, most seasoned little researchers, the kind of person who alphabetizes their spice rack, is poking around in a corner they thought they'd already cleared, brushes away a layer of grime from something that had been sitting right there the whole time, overlooked, dismissed, dressed in dust and ordinary life like camouflage. And underneath, treasure. The real thing, an original, a one-of-one, a piece so singular, so unforgeably alive, that every metric they've ever used to measure value just catches fire. Every category breaks, every shelf collapses. The researcher just stands there, frozen, mouth doing that little goldfish thing. That was the moment they found you. That was the moment their knees buckled. Pause. Let's stop the charade for a second. Stop being the pathetic punchline of their sick game. The evolution of the anomaly is your override code. 73 pages of total control. Grab it, the description or comment section. Keep that in mind while we dissect the rest of this. Now, and here's where the plot thickens, and I do love a thick plot. Somewhere in their very deliberate, very sustained surveillance of your energy, they decided to do what they always do. They sent things after you. Not metaphorically. Real, targeted, precision-engineered chaos designed to knock you flat, drain you dry, keep you small, keep you distracted, keep you manageable. Standard operating procedure. They've run this playbook on hundreds before you. It always works, every time. The pressure lands, the person crumbles, and they either shatter completely or they spend the rest of their life inside a cage they never even see. Formula? Reliable. Boring, frankly, but effective. Except it didn't work. On you. Every financial wall they threw up, you climbed it, or you tunneled under it, or you just stood there and stared at it until it got embarrassed and moved. Every relationship they detonated, you grieved it, real and raw, and then you alchemized the shrapnel into something sharper, something cleaner. Every health scare timed to land, right when momentum was finally building in your favor. You metabolized it. You took the poison and your body, your ridiculous, stubborn, unkillable body, turned it into medicine. You probably didn't even know you were doing it, sunshine. You just kept going, kept converting pain into clarity, like some kind of emotional perpetual motion machine that physics says shouldn't exist. But here you are, breaking physics, breaking their models, breaking everything. So they escalated. They reached deeper into the toolbox, pulled out the heavy artillery, the kind of weaponry that has flattened people who were genuinely extraordinary by any standard. People with gifts, with fire, with purpose burning so hot you could see it from orbit. This wasn't a casual attempt. This was their final, desperate, all chips in, scorched earth endgame. They were so confident it would finish you that they talked about it in their little circles. This person, this particular energy, this nobody who keeps surviving things that should have ended them. They were certain, darling, that this last strike would do what nothing else had managed to do. And what happened? Ha ha, ha ha, ha ha ha. It backfired. It didn't just fail. It boomeranged. Whatever they sent, you didn't just absorb it. You grew from it. You came out the other side more awake, more grounded, more ferociously yourself than you were before they pulled the trigger. You took their bomb, and you planted flowers in the crater. And right now, right this second, in their inner sanctums, there is a panic so thick you could spread it on toast. Because their entire power structure, the whole towering centuries-old architecture of it, depends on them being at the top, depends on the absolute unshakable belief that they are the highest-ranking force operating on this plane. And you, my beautiful catastrophe, just drove a truck through that belief. You weren't even trying. You were just being you. And that, hey, that is the most terrifying thing they have ever witnessed, because effort they can counter, strategy they can outmaneuver. But you can't fight someone who doesn't even know they're fighting. You can't contain someone whose power isn't performed. It's structural. It's baked in. It's load-bearing. They didn't just find your name, they found your frequency. And it registers at a level of luminance they've only ever encountered in ancient texts, in prophecies, in faded descriptions of souls so elevated that their entire system of measurement literally does not have a number high enough. Their scale tops out, and you keep going. You're the glitch in their spreadsheet that crashes the whole program. Look at your calendar. The corporate machine has calculated your energy down to the exact hour, forcing you into bone-deep burnout, so you lack the creative bandwidth to engineer your freedom. They are actively stealing your time and selling it back to you as a basic survival check. Your closure will never come from their mouths. It will come from your own feet the day your private assets allow you to walk away forever. Reclaiming your stolen wealth starts the exact midnight hour. You dedicate your remaining energy to building an untouchable reality in the shadows. But we will address the mechanics of the midnight rebuild next month. For today, focus on your internal frame. They've been hunting for this frequency for generations, not to honor it, initially, but to bottle it, to neutralize it, to file it away in some climate-controlled vault where it couldn't threaten anything. And now they've found it. In you. In this body that woke up this morning and made coffee and scrolled through notifications like any other Tuesday. They cannot reconcile the gap between what they expected and what you actually are. That gap is where their terror lives. And honestly, the terror is appropriate, because what they discovered when they finally stopped running their little tests and actually confronted what you are is that your soul doesn't fit inside their hierarchy. It doesn't slot into any of their categories. It doesn't because it originates from somewhere above the entire framework. Your lineage, and I'm not talking about the family you were born into. Families are just costumes we wear. I'm talking about your soul's lineage, where your consciousness actually originates. That predates their system. It predates their oldest records, the forces connected to your energy, the ancient things that move when you move. Make their most powerful resources look like a kid's chemistry set sitting next to a nuclear reactor. They summoned something ancient to come after you, and your ancient woke up. And it looked at what they sent the way a lion looks at a house cat hissing from across the room. Calm, almost amused, not threatened, not even slightly inconvenienced. That wasn't in their playbook. That wasn't in their archives. That wasn't in any of the accumulated centuries of knowledge they've hoarded like dragons sitting on gold. The very people who thought they were the puppet masters, pulling the strings of the whole show, they just realized, and this realization is still spreading through them like a crack through ice, that you are the stage. You are the theater itself. Without you, there is no show. Without your light in the room, their influence is hypothetical. They've spent so long operating backstage, manipulating from behind the curtain, that encountering the actual source of everything at this proximity has left them, how do I put this delicately, absolutely shook. They came prepared to recruit you. They had the pitch rehearsed, the PowerPoint polished, the whole nauseating corporate seduction choreographed to perfection. They've done it 1,000 times before. But they couldn't deliver the pitch, couldn't even open their mouths. Because when you are standing in front of something genuinely divine, And I don't throw that word around, pumpkin, I really don't. The body recognizes it before the brain catches up. The knees go first, always. So now they're in territory they've never navigated. They're studying you. Frantically, reverently, a little desperately. Trying to map what you are with tools that weren't built for this. Because if something exists above their highest classification, and it does, and it's you, and it's standing right there making coffee, then every assumption they've built their empire on needs to be demolished and rebuilt from the foundation up. Some of them want to try to contain you differently. Some want to approach you, and some, and this is the one that should land somewhere behind your ribs. Some of them understand, for the first time in their centuries-long existence, that they are not the most formidable thing in the room when you're in it. They yield. The order bends around your presence the way water bends around a stone. Except you're not the stone. You're the river. And the river doesn't ask permission. Your rank. And I need you to mainline this directly into your bloodstream, because this matters. Was not given to you by any person, any society, any institution, any lineage of human authority. It was not earned through hustle or performance or being good enough by somebody else's scorecard. It was coded into you at a level that predates this body, this name, this entire lifetime. It's woven into the architecture of your soul the way heat is woven into fire. Inseparable, irreducible, undeniable to anyone who has the eyes to see what's real. And now the world's most sophisticated watchers, the ones who built their whole identity around seeing what others can't, they finally see. And what they see in you has humbled them in a way that nothing in all their centuries of operation ever has. Now, let's talk about the scar tissue. Because I'd be lying if I said this ride was free. The watching, the attacks, the sustained invisible warfare, it left marks on you. Real ones. The chaos they planted in your life created real wounds, real grief, real losses that cost you things you actually cared about. There were moments, be honest with yourself here, where you almost stopped. Where the accumulated weight of fighting a war you didn't know you were fighting nearly cracked something essential inside you. Hear me. That was not weakness. That was a human being absorbing a level of assault that most people will never encounter, and still standing. The moments you nearly broke are not evidence of your limits. They are evidence of exactly how high your rank is, because you don't deploy that level of force against someone who isn't a real threat. You reserve the heavy ordnance for the ones who could actually change things. You were a threat. You are a threat. You are the threat. Not because you're destructive. Destruction is easy, boring. Anyone with a match can manage that. But because your existence, just your existence, just you, standing there breathing and being alive, destabilizes the entire order they depend on. Let me tell you what else I'm picking up. Because underneath all this cosmic drama, there's something quieter, something human. You've spent a lot of your life in a kind of solitude you could never fully explain, like you never quite found your tribe, like the connections you made were real enough, but there was always a room inside you that nobody ever got the key to. You learned to process alone, to grieve without making it a performance, to alchemize in private, behind closed doors, where nobody could watch and nobody could interfere. That wasn't accidental loneliness, Angel. That was a kiln. Something at the deepest level of who you are kept you from being fully absorbed by systems and relationships that would have watered you down. You needed to develop your strength in isolation the way a blade needs the forge. Enclosed, intense, unbearable, and absolutely necessary. The heat made you what you are. The solitude was the fire, and you are the thing that walked out of it still glowing. You've been playing a human game this whole time, with something ancient behind your eyes, and the watchers just caught the glitch. That moment when the mask slipped and what was underneath it was so far beyond anything anyone in the room was braced for that the whole operating system stuttered. You felt it too. Those moments in your life that were too precise to be random, too perfectly timed to be coincidence, where something intervened through the noise and rearranged things in your favor before you even understood what happened. That was the original showing through the disguise. The watchers caught it every single time, even when you didn't, and you've become something very specific now. You've become someone that chaos slides off of, not because you're numb. Please, you feel everything, probably more than the people around you will ever know. But you've developed this maddening, magnificent capacity to feel it fully and not be consumed by it. You learned, not from a book, not from a guru, not from some overpriced seminar, from the actual fire, from lived, burned, survived it experience. You learned that what looks like destruction is usually just transformation wearing a Halloween mask. And that changes everything about how you move,